Welcome to Manga Machinations! This is episode number 507, and this week we're doing a one-shot on Beast Complex 2 and 3. I'm Dakazu, and I like hot lettuce. With me is Darfox 8.
I'm Darfox, and I like mayo and guac on my hot dogs.
And Morgana Santilli.
Hi there. I didn't prepare any food thoughts right now. Also, I can't currently taste anything because I have COVID.
Oh, bummer.
It's terrible.
And yeah, poor Morgana got COVID.
Took 4 years.
Yeah, it's first time?
Well, okay, first time that I know of. I have a suspicion that we've had it before and
Okay.
just all the tests were negative for some reason.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
same. I
Like,
think I had a variant of it when I went to Chicago last year. Sorry, Dar, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say a joke.
A joke about hot lettuce.
No, the joke was gonna be long time first time.
Seamus is not with us. He is watching the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Let you know that mediocre wrestling is more important to Seamus than you are, listener base, okay?
It's more that he did not care about Beast Complex to talk about it, so he bowed out.
This man hates animals.
I don't think that's the case. Maybe he hates hot lettuce. Do you like hot lettuce, Star Fox? I'm gonna keep bringing hot lettuce up.
Okay, I don't actually care. I don't actually care about hot lettuce. I know some people like. This come up because of sandwich talk, right? Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, because you get a hot sandwich and you can order your toppings on it, and Dagazu, you order hot lettuce on it. Some people think that's disgusting.
I will get a meatball sub from Subway, and I will ask for lettuce on it. Which people think is crazy.
I mean, I don't do that, but also I don't really care that much because lettuce is already just kind of like filler.
Yeah, it's
Right.
filler. It's like more stuff.
I like lettuce, but yeah, it's like it's not really there for the flavor.
Yeah, I also feel like that's my son. I also feel like I don't have strong opinions about the temperature of my lettuce. Like, if you gave me a plate full of hot lettuce, I would not be pleased.
You will start looking at the exits thinking that this is like a monster situation. Like these people are
Right.
like about to eat you.
But
here's-
you know,
yeah,
but,
yeah, go
but
ahead.
like in a panini or something, like it's supposed to be like you toast it. That's fine.
Yeah.
I think people are fine with like hot cabbage. But when you start doing just like iceberg lettuce or, romaine lettuce hot, people start looking at you funny. You're like, that's for a salad. But here's the thing. I make brown fried rice with lettuce. You make the fried brown rice and then you make it into fried rice. And then at the end, you rip up lettuce and you put it there. And the lettuce is like warmed up a little bit. It's no longer cold because it's with the fried rice, and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's just like greens in with your rice. That's like a different. Yeah, that doesn't bother me.
Also, like you saying romaine kind of like just triggered like a Caesar salad or something for me. And so sometimes people put like grilled chicken in a salad,
Right.
and that warms up your leaves as well. The leaves are usually cool, but when you add the chicken to it, kind of normalize the temperature of everything. Eventually,
I thought of this today because for lunch I got a Whopper from the Burger King.
congratulations.
My order is a Whopper with cheese, no mayo. And I didn't eat it for a bit, Dar, so it got a little cold, and I was like, I'll heat this up in the microwave. And just, for 30 seconds, and that warms up the lettuce a little.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm okay with this. Why are you laughing at me?
Okay, to be fair, to play devil's advocate, like, okay, I can kill me a Whopper, right? But like that's some bottom tier food right there, like microwave Whoppers.
And no mayo.
they load up the Whopper with mayo. There's a lot of mayo
Do
in the
they?
Whopper.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is.
I
There
don't
is.
prefer Burger King, so I can't remember the last time I went.
Bless you, child.
I mean, yeah, McDonald's is probably more preferred, but
By the way, I
I'll
was
eat a
saying
Whopper.
bless you,
Whoppers are
child.
delicious.
I was saying bless you, child to Morgana's actual child. I wasn't
Yeah.
telling Morgana. I wasn't saying bless you, child to Morgana because I think that's weird language when people say that to
Yeah,
adults.
that'd be weird. We're like almost the same age.
Yep.
It's like when some kid at Boston Comic Con years ago called me. I think he called me like honey or something. I'm like, you're like
Ooh.
younger than me. Can you not?
Did you do that thing that they do in like Ghibli movies where like the camera zooms in on you and your hair start like standing up?
I mean, that is the sensation I was feeling for sure.
Yeah.
I gave him such stink eye.
Like, do either of you remember the McDLT?
No, is it just like a BOT?
This is a McDonald's item. It was known as the McDeluxe, but it was a cheeseburger. And this is back in the day when like the McDonald's used styrofoam containers. It was a styrofoam containers that had two sides. And on one side, you had the bottom half of the cheeseburger, the bottom bun, the patty, and cheese on it. And on the other side was the top bun with lettuce, tomato. And they were like, keeping it separate makes the lettuce and tomato stay nice and cold. And when you're ready, just put it together and dig in.
You gotta keep them separated.
Yep. I like lettuce and tomato on my burgers, so.
I do too.
I like onions.
I do
Grilled?
Raw, grilled, Shrek, all kind of onions.
too.
I would
pickles?
be okay with a raw onion, but I prefer grilled onions.
Same.
For me, a grilled like because if I make my burger, especially if I'm doing it at home, I usually just put grill on there, like or raw. Grilling is like the extra step. It's like if I want to make like the burger, like delicious burger. It's kind of it's almost just like a luxury, even though you're just grilling a little bit of onion. It's pretty easy.
The luxury is if you grill up some mushrooms. Mushroom burger. I don't care if it's Swiss. Usually it's Swiss mushroom burgers, but I'll take any kind of mushroom burger. Delicious. Avocado and bacon is also a good combo.
I like avocado on burger, but I like avocado on almost anything.
Probably slap some mayo on that.
Yes.
Ugh.
Fat on fat.
Welcome to Manga Machinations and Burger Talk.
Do we talk about food every time?
Yeah.
We do. But it's okay. I wanted to pad it out a little because I think it's going to be a shorter episode today. Marcana is still recovering, but yeah.
Famous last words.
That's what I always say. No email this week, so we're going to move on to our coffee. I almost moved on to what you've been reading. I remember, we have a coffee. If you want to support our podcast, please head over to ko-fi.com/mangamac. Buy us a coffee. We put our projects that we're trying to fund over there, and you can help support us by buying us a coffee so we can buy our manga. Right now, we have 2 projects brewing. The Ooku Inner Chambers retrospective, which will be starting probably in August. Don't quote me, though. Everything is subject to change. And also our Land of the Lustrous retrospective, which we will look into starting when I get a release date for that final volume in English. But yes, thank you to all our supporters: Philip, Magamachu, Vicky Dalton, Lulu Deluid, Mia, Wyatt, Dr. Meltface, Poor Mexican 72, Liquidus 002, Xteen, and Jen. Thank you for supporting us by going to ko-fi.com/mangamac. Okay,
So-
coffee's... yeah?
I was gonna say it's not an insignificant amount of money because the Berserk was just one story arc, but Land of Lustrous is everything.
technically the Berserk one didn't cover the full Berserk because I thought it was 4 volumes. It ended up being 5 volumes. So yeah, we buy a manga with our own money. We're not funded by anybody. We are just our own small organization. Except for Phil, we're funded by Philip.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could say that. You could say that. He's supported us a lot. Thank you, Philip.
Brought to you by listeners like Philip.
Yes. But yes, let's move along to some what you've been reading next. Morgana, you were out last week. Did you do some manga reading?
I did. I actually have a bunch of things to talk about.
Very nice.
So I was away because I was at the American Library Association annual conference in San Diego, which I did this a couple years ago, and I think I talked to you guys about it. But it's basically like a trade show kind of. It's where a bunch of publishers and other organizations that do work for libraries gather, and librarians and other library professionals can go around and see what they've all got. There's panels like on professional issues. Authors go and do author talks and things like that.
Were you on a panel?
I was on a couple panels, yes.
Nice.
Yes, so I did one with Morgan Perry from Square Enix and Ivan Salazar from Kodansha Comics. It was a book buzz. What did we call it? Manga Power Hour with Yen Press, Square Enix, and Kodansha Comics. That one was really fun. Where we all talked about a handful of titles in different categories. So I think we did shonen, shoujo, LGBTQ, and like an anime tie-in title. And then I did a smaller panel. It was just yen shoujo titles, like shoujo and other like female demographic titles, like some of our reincarnation manhwa and things like that. The shoujo panel I feel was less successful because it was just me kind of talking at people, whereas the one with Square Enix and Kodansha was a lot of fun because Morgan and Ivan are cool people, and we were all able to talk about books we all care about, and a lot of us like the books that we're all published. We all like each other's books, so it was a lot of fun to talk that up. In preparation for that panel, I had to do a little bit of reading, which I just want to briefly touch on. There are a couple titles that are coming out in September and October from Yen that I wanted to mention because I read them ahead of time, and I think they might appeal to, us here or some of our listeners. So before I go any further, the caveat, of course, being I work for Yen Press, but all my opinions are my own and do not reflect my employer. So first up, have you guys heard of Togen Anki?
I don't believe so.
So this is a shonen manga. There is an anime adaptation coming in 2025 at some time. I don't think the date has been set yet.
Oh, did Yen license this?
Yes, so we've licensed this. It's coming out in September.
This runs in Shonen Champion, Akita Shoten,
yes.
Same as Beastars, yeah.
Yes, so again, we publish shonen titles, but none of them feel like Shonen Jump titles. And the interesting thing about Togen Anki when I read it was it really felt like a Jump title. It's got so the premise is that our protagonist Shiki is kind of a loudmouth, lazy kid who was adopted and gets expelled from school, and he hates his adopted father. He's such a jerk. And then like in the first chapter, he and his dad are basically attacked by this guy who's from this agency, and he's like, oh, I must kill you, you have Oni blood. And he's like, the hell are you talking about? And his dad never told him about the fact that he's actually an Oni. And spoilers, his dad gets killed, and he has to like join this like school for Oni where they'd like train to go up against this Momotaro agency that's trying to kill all the Oni.
It's the Peach Boy, Legend of the Peach Boy, Dark Fox. You know Peach Boy.
Peach Boy.
Momotaro, the famous Japanese folktale.
No.
This is referenced in Yu Yu Hakusho during the Dark Tournament.
A few things, yeah.
Momotaro Okay, a long time ago. Let me tell this folk story. A long time ago, there was a old lady and there was a grandpa and a grandma, and they were the grandma. I think, yeah, the grandma went to go wash clothes at the river, and a giant peach floats down the river. So the grandma takes a giant peach home, and they split it open. Inside, there's a baby, and they named that baby Momotaro. And Momotaro grows up, and he's like, I'm gonna go defeat all the Oni, aka the demons that live on the Demon Island. You know the famous Japanese board game, video game, Momotetsu, Momotaro like Tetsudo, like it's basically like Monopoly, but it's with trains. That's based on Momotaro too. And on the way, he feeds these peach dumplings to like different animals to get them to join. There's a monkey, there's a dog, there's a pheasant. You remember that guy from the Dark Tournament that ate the balls and he like turned into like the dog and the pheasant and the monkey?
Yeah, I think so.
You fought Hiei.
Okay.
So those guys are the bad guys in Togen Anki. They're supposed to be the
Yes.
heroes, but they're the bad guys
Yes.
because they're hunting down the Oni.
Right. And so our protagonist is, he wants to get revenge for his adopted father's death. The two things that I feel like really kind of push it into like I think it might do very well. It's kind of reminiscent of Chainsaw Man, weirdly. Sorry, hold on a second.
It is dark. The thing is, the main character and all the Oni, they use their blood to fight. Like, they transform their blood into weapons.
Okay.
And the main character here... Oh, sorry, go ahead, Morgan.
I was gonna say, he a whole bunch of guns come out of his body, basically. He's like a gun otaku. Which is interesting.
Guns made out of blood. Some other characters, they have their blood transformed into giant, like... some people use knives. There's a guy who has a bunch of, like, scars, and out of his scars come out, like, blades and, like, spinning, like, chainsaw stuff. So almost like Chainsaw Man.
Yeah, so that it reminded me of that. And then also the beginning already, there's like a competition between the students that reminded me of like the Chunin exams from Naruto.
Oh yeah, that's usually how like these kind of shonen stuff start. Makes sense.
So yeah, I was surprised by how much it seemed like a jump title. The art's pretty good. The characters are pretty interesting. I could.
Yep.
I could see it doing pretty well. That's what I'm saying.
I'm surprised Yen licensed that.
Yeah, well, we got it. I'm really excited to see how it does, especially with the anime. And the other thing that we have coming out in October, which I'm extremely excited about, and so is the whole internet, is the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all. At work, we like to call this the Green Yuri book. Because the cover is like bright green, and then like the inside is also black and white and green, which is pretty exciting. But this is a Yuri book about a high schooler. Have I talked to you guys about this already?
Yes.
I'm familiar with it, yeah, so you might have talked to
I might have mentioned it already. Well, I actually read it. I mentioned it when we licensed it, but I actually read it on the plane over to San Diego. It's really, really good. It's really, really good. So I was already excited about it just conceptually, but I can also say I am excited about it actually.
Very nice. We'll try to check it out on the podcast. Maybe we'll read Togen Anki when Seamus is not here.
Yeah.
He would have no patience for that.
No, I don't think so.
Definitely very green.
Oh, Green Yuri book? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wanted to mention, did I talk about how Scholastic was making a Unico book?
No, but I know of this.
Okay. So Scholastic a while ago announced a Unico book, and with every kind of we're trying to get into manga thing, I was like, okay, I don't know how I feel about this. But at Comics Pro, actually, the creator, one of the adapters, the writers, he talked about the project and showed us kind of like interiors at the time, and I was like, oh, it actually looks really good. It's by the art is done by Gurihiru, who's I believe a pair of Japanese artists. They're really very talented, and do really nice colors. And my daughter recently watched both of the Unico movies from the 80s that were produced by Sanrio. Sanrio had a short-lived video production era. So my daughter's really into Unico right now. So I was able to grab a galley of this Unico Awakening, this first volume of this Unico adaptation, and she and I have been reading it, and it's pretty good. Severina, are you enjoying Unico? Do you like Unico? Yes.
Yes.
My brain is hurting.
What's that?
My brain is hurting.
Her brain is hurting.
Yeah. Relatable.
Fair. Earlier, she was telling me that she was feeling jumpy and screamy, and then she jumped off the end of the bed and hurt herself. So
Oh no.
she's just super antsy from being stuck inside. Because
Yeah.
she's also got COVID.
That's big sad.
Big sad, yeah. She was supposed to go to a birthday party today.
No.
Yeah. But yeah, we've been enjoying Unico, and ALA in general was a lot of fun. And you know what else I read? I read
What
Sexy
else?
Voice in Robo.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
yeah, I asked you to take a look because I wanted to know your opinion on it.
Yeah,
you think?
I enjoyed it. And I listened to the episode from last week too. I did that earlier today, and some pretty
You
good
heard
Seamus quotes in there.
talking shit about Tom King.
I mean, fair. He deserves it. Was really funny though. Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with a lot of what you guys are saying. I was amused at how long it took you guys to be like, oh wait, it's Kelly Sue DeConnick. Yeah, Pretty Deadly, Bitch Planet, that Kelly Sue DeConnick. Also, I mean, Captain Marvel, I think is her big thing.
All right, nice. That's a lot of stuff, Morgana.
Yeah. I did a lot of reading while I was. What the heck? Sorry, it's so noisy on this end today.
It is
It's all
what it
good.
is.
I see your husband is still watching anime.
He is, yes. He's been watching his triathlon. He gave me his ranking. Yomushi Pedals is in first place for him.
Obviously.
Nice.
Then followed by Free, and then Run with the Wind at the bottom. He's like, Run with the Wind
Oh.
isn't bad. He just doesn't care about any of these kids or
Not even the manga
or their
otaku?
shit.
That guy's
No.
the best.
And I suspect he also feels that way about Free, but he really likes the swimming animation, so that's why it gets second place. Whereas I think he's actively enjoying Yomushi Battle.
All right, very nice. Thank you, Morgana. Darfox,
Yes.
did you read anything?
I don't think so. We did watch a movie last night though.
Oh, you want to talk about Wicked City?
I want to talk about Wicked City.
All right, fine. We can talk
Oh,
about
boy.
Wicked City.
So we didn't watch the classic anime movie Wicked City. We watched a Hong Kong film based on, I assume it's based on the anime, but I guess it could be based on the novel, the original novel. Cliff is in chat. Hey Cliff, what's up? But yeah, well, Wicked City is basically like a story about like demons infiltrating human society, and just like cops or something that are trying to hunt the demons down and root out the corruption or something. And that's ostensibly what the Hong Kong film directed by Choi Hark is about. This was so occasionally, we watch a lot of Hong Kong movies. I'm a big fan of like kung fu films and Jackie Chan movies or whatever. And there's kind of like a subset of Hong Kong films from like the 80s and early 90s that are like essentially like special effects showcases, practical effects, and it's like the main reason you would watch the movie, because the plot's paper thin and some of the character things don't make sense. And this is one of those. This movie was balls to the wall, just random things. People shooting fireballs, growing their arms long, turning into knives and cutting stuff in half. Like
This guy actually turns into a knife, Morgana.
yeah,
He
like
turns into a giant knife.
Huh.
yeah, it's just bonkers. It's a great group watch film because you never know what's gonna happen next. The
This
plot,
is like Ricky O.
yeah, it's like Ricky O, except it's like Ricky O is very basic, but it has a focused plot. This movie's plot was kind of all over the place, because there's a lot of romance in it. There's a lot of characters like passionately kissing, but then they have a history where they betrayed each other, and then they betray each other next scene again, and then the next scene they're passionately kissing again, and then this back and forth because one of the main like human investigators is in love or was involved with one of the raptors. I think is what they called in the film. But
Okay, so Wicked City is based on a novel series, and then the novel series is done by Hideyuki Kikuchi, and that was adapted into an
Yes.
anime film, and that's the one that most people know of. The anime film is directed by Yoshiaki Kawajiri. Darfox, he also did Ninja Scroll.
yeah, and I never seen Wicked City, but I could tell just by the way the trailers looked. It's that genre of anime movie where it's like
This is for
bloody.
adults. There's
Yeah.
sex, there's gore, there's violence. Yeah. Same with the original novel. But the Chinese version is like insane. Like they changed the demons to raptors. They're called raptors, Morgana, not velociraptors. They're just like beings that use energy, and the energy involves like turning into goop and stuff, and or looking like reptilian in origin. I don't know, Dar. It was a crazy fucking movie.
Yes, it was. It was a lot of money being burned on screen. Is what the movie was. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty great. um, there is a scene. So there was one raptor in the movie that was basically like a shapeshifter. Um, and there's a scene where she traps the main characters in an elevator because she is the elevator, and they're like, "Oh no, we're inside a raptor," and it cuts to like her head on top of the elevator. Like her head is like there's a lot of like biomechanical kind of like prosthetic effects where like they try and make like the actor blend in with like the like a machine or something like that, right? So it kind of looked like that, and she's like, "Ha ha ha! I'm gonna crush you inside of me." But then one of the characters, who's a raptor, who's been helping out the main characters, he jumps in. He's like, "I know how to handle women like this," and he starts pushing back on her. And then he like, and to be clear, this is like kind of weird and like inappropriate and scummy, but like the subtext is that he sex her up so good that he's able to like force her to transform into something. And there's a scene where he transforms her into a motorcycle, and he's riding the motorcycle, and her head is at the front of the motorcycle, and then they basically fuck while riding around the motorcycle, and then she explodes at the end, and that's how he kills her. Absolutely insane. Like
You failed to mention the fact that for both the elevator sequence and the motorcycle, she is pitch black.
oh yeah, she's basically in like blackface. Like it's just, I guess because she's supposed to be a machine or something. They've shown her before where she wasn't black, where she was like blue or something.
She became a pinball machine at one point. Her character is like, thrusting at the pinball machine, saying, "This is so good."
Yes, they're fucking the pinball machine, like literally fucking the pinball machine. It's absolutely insane. I again, it's a fun watch. And it's interesting for all the practical effects. They look really dated and cheap, but I think look really cool and interesting compared to modern movies and stuff like that. And I like Choi Hark a lot. He's a director. He's a really famous Hong Kong director. He's done a lot of like famous like classic Hong Kong films. But he has like a particular style. He has a lot of like Dutch angles and a lot of like weird camera angles and zooms. And this movie didn't even feel like Choi Hart because it was so crazy in every other aspect besides just the camera angles that like it just the camera angles were like the least crazy thing about the movie because like I said, people were like fucking elevators and motorcycles and shit.
If I'm not mistaken, Hideyuki Kikuchi, the author of the novel, is also the author of the Vampire Hunter D series.
Yes.
Which, as you describe some of these things, I mean, I know this is the movie and not the book, but like weird people turning into machine demons does not sound outside of the realm of possibility for something that he wrote.
Yep. Funny enough, Yoshiaki Kawajiri, who did the Wicked City anime movie, also did Bloodlust.
Hey.
Was that the second one or the
Yes.
Okay,
It's
Yeah.
the one we watch.
right. I still haven't seen the first one.
Oh, we should do that someday if we can find it. That's also good. I mean, Bloodlust is my favorite, and it's newer and just more aesthetically pleasing in some ways. And that's not to say, I mean, the other one is from the 80s, so it just has that look about it. But it's also quite good. Bloodlust is I just have a weakness for it. I think it really showcases the Yoshitaka Amano designs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of screenshots from the first film, and it doesn't quite like it's not the iconic Vampire Hunter
Yeah.
D look. It looks
I mean,
very
it
different.
they definitely used those character designs, but I think, I think they were just able to do more, in the early 2000s. It really and Bloodlust holds up, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good looking movie. I just love that movie so much.
I say we watch the first Vampire Hunter D movie for October extravaganza,
I would love to.
but we wait till Morgana's out, and then maybe we'll watch the Wicked City anime dar. I don't think Morgana's gonna like it.
I probably will need to take off a weekend in October, so
Maybe we'll
I'll
throw
let
it
you
in
know.
there. Okay, can we move on, Dar?
Yes, we can move on.
Okay, so it's July. We had the 4th of July. My dog was scared, even though there wasn't a lot of fireworks, but a couple went off and she got freaked out. Because that's what dogs do. A lot of dogs don't like fireworks. But I mentioned July because that means it's the start of the summer anime season. And there's some new shows that are happening. The Elusive Samurai, which is done by the person who did Assassination Classroom, that anime started. Quality Assurance in Another World, which I've talked about, the anime started. Other stuff like Nier Automata is back with the second cur. But the thing I want to talk about is the anime for Red Cat Ramen, aka Ramen Akaneko. It started, Dar, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a 3D anime. I have a feeling like it's the same with Beastars, but I guess Japanese animators are all like, we can't handle animals. We don't know how to draw animals. Just make them 3D. So it's a 3D anime, but it's it's a little simple at times, especially because there is a human character, and the human character looks a little stiff, a little Sims from the Blue Giant movie, maybe. But in general, it's very cute. And I showed my wife, and she enjoyed it. Morgana, I think you would like this. There's a black cat character.
Noted. Oh.
He's a good boy. And also there's a tiger. There's a tiger that works at the ramen shop. And she's a scaredy cat. It's very cute. I will say the one thing I didn't like about this Red Cat Ramen anime is the opening song. I got a case of the Morgana. Every song sounds the same.
Yeah.
The chorus of the song is just it's a catchy tune, but it's not like a good catchy tune
Yeah,
melody.
you
So
get
I'm just
stuck
like
there.
yeah, I'm like But the ending's very
Listen,
good. Ending is good and it's cute, and the cats are all dancing. It's very cute.
because my daughter and I have been sick, and we've been sick the longest, she and I have just been stuck hanging out together, and she's just been watching the same TV show for like 2 days straight. It's Vampirina, which you can find on Disney Plus. And the opening song is it now lives in my brain, and it will never go, and it will never go away. It will never go away. So
It's a bad place to be. Yeah.
It's a bad place to be. I mean, like, the show is fine. It's like not my favorite of her like obsessions. But you know, it's about a little vampire girl trying to she moves from Transylvania to Pennsylvania and needs to fit in to the human crowd. So it's cute. I'm glad there's like weird shit for girls now on TV. But now I have this inane song stuck in my head.
Well, Morgana, let me help some of that problem by moving on and talking about a manga I read by Akiko Higashimura.
Oh.
It's her current manga series, Maru Sankaku Shikaku, which means circle, triangle, square. This is an autobiographical manga about 1985, when Akiko Higashimura was 10 years old and in 4th grade. I sent Darfox and Morgana a link to the first chapter. This manga runs in a Big magazine, I think. Big Comic Original.
Big.
So Shogakukan's Seinen division. And yeah, it's really just talking about life in 1985 in Miyazaki Prefecture in Kyushu Island. Kyushu is the westmost island, Darfox, of Japan. And it's pretty interesting. It's filled with comedy, of course, because that's Akiko Higashimura's bread and butter. But it's a lot about like the culture and like the things locally happening. The first chapter is about how Akiko's friend Miyamoto is going to go have chicken namban, which is deep fried chicken soaked in sauce with tartar sauce on top. It's delicious. And there's a chain restaurant called Ogura, which is known as the birthplace of this. And Akiko Higashimura is all like, "Oh, I so want chicken namban, I want it." But you know, she's complaining to her parents about wanting it, and of course she doesn't get it. So a lot of cultural stuff from the times that she's explaining. Oh my god, I closed my... Okay. Sorry, I need to find the most interesting part. I read the first volume of this. And in the first chapter... No, not in the first chapter, sorry. There was a 2-chapter arc that talked about the Sengumaki event. Sengumaki is also known as mochimaki, or spreading of mochi. I don't know if this still happens, Morgana, but what happened is when someone was building a house and they had finished constructing the foundation and finished the roof, they would have this event where they would literally, you know, to celebrate that, you know, the house is like this much done, they would throw out these plastic bags filled with fresh mochi. And in some bags, they also had money in them. 50 yen coins, 100 yen coins. It kind of feels like a piñata party. And there's some kind of, you know, blessing on the house type of like history behind this event. But also like Akiko Higashimura explains, oh, you know, we've been building. We're still going to be doing construction, being a little noisy. There's going to be trucks in the area. We apologize. Here's some cheer. here's some mochi. Please, continue to look on as like we complete this house. So they put up a flag when they do this, and Akiko Higashimura sees the flag from far away, goes to her classroom, and is like, everybody, this event is happening. They rope in all their friends. They rope in the teacher to come help them collect the mochi that's being like tossed around in these packages. And it's really funny how everyone's collecting stuff, and then like suddenly they notice, oh no, they're middle schoolers, and they've got an umbrella turned upside down, like inside out, and they're catching all like the bags that way. How cruel! This event, and like they're like, teacher, do something, and the teacher's like, well, technically there's no rules against that. So it's just really funny how everything happens. It's entertaining, Morgana. I think I'm gonna keep reading. I enjoy Akiko Higashimura's nonfiction stuff. This falls in that category. Darfox, this reminds me of high score girls Rensuke Oshikiri had his Pico Pico Shonen nonfiction series where he talks about his like all his love of video games and like different like stories from his childhood revolving video games. It's kind of like that. That's what it reminds me of. Morgana, unfortunately, I don't think this is going to get an English release.
It's very culturally
Japanese,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to read it, though. Sounds great.
Mm-hmm. It's very entertaining, very fascinating. It's kind of interesting how she picked the specific time of when she was in 4th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm still always amazed when I remember how old she is. You're like, 1985 when she was like, and I'm like, yeah, like 5. She's like, 10. And I'm like, wait, what?
She was born in 1975.
Yeah.
She is a Gen X child.
Yeah, she's the same age as my uncle, which is, not old necessarily, but I mean, she was like a teenager when I was born, so.
There's a great afterword, because she writes great afterwords for her volumes, where she's talking about like a lot of people said while checking out this new manga series, they're like, oh, wow, I'm surprised you can remember that well from like your 4th grade. And it's like, don't you remember your 4th grade? And they're like, oh, I guess I do. I don't remember my 4th grade much.
Not much.
Nor do I want to.
I remember a little bit.
I remember. Oh,
you do, Dar?
I remember. Yeah.
You have an episode you want to share with the class?
So, about that. No, so the reason why I remember is because I may have told Dagazu this at some point. I've known Dagazu a long time. But
I do.
After 3rd grade, summer school, we had a teacher in Miami called Miss Del Valle, Cuban lady, very strict. In Miami, most of my classmates were 2nd generation immigrant kids, meaning their parents are 1st generation. So you grew up, we were all like in the same situation where we all spoke Spanish. So it was a very interesting bilingual class. There was only like of a class of like 30 kids, there was only like 2 or 3 kids who couldn't speak Spanish. And they were like really left out of the loop. It was really weird. Because the teacher would just speak to us in English and Spanish and back and forth. It was weird. So after summer school, this is between 3rd grade and 4th grade. She was like, oh, this group needs some help. I'm going to switch to be a 4th grade teacher so I could teach the same group. So when school came back, we're 4th graders now, we had the same teacher, same class. And then for summer school after 4th grade, we had her again. Same teacher, same class. And then she was like, this group needs a lot of help. I'm gonna switch to a 5th grade teacher so I could teach the same group. We had her again when we became 5th graders. So from like before 4th grade all the way to we graduated elementary school, we had the same class, same teacher. It was weird. That's not how American schools usually are. You change groups up, and you might keep like 40 to 50% of the same class, or probably less, like 30 to 40%. Like you do keep some of your classmates from year to year, but generally you switch up a lot of them. You meet a lot of new kids every year. Not us. We had the same teacher, and this lady was really really strict. She would like it was commonplace to make her make us cry. She was very much a yell at you until you cry kind of teacher. So like for like a large part of my elementary school career, we had like this weird Stockholm syndrome with Mr. Valle, who was very good teacher. You know, like we learned a lot, but also just like really mean and can just like really tear you down. And she just, she just say such mean shit like, it's okay. Somebody got to pick up the garbage. It's okay. Somebody has to work at McDonald's and shit like that. When like you get a question wrong or some shit like that.
Ooh.
And like I could tell stories I remember very vividly. Fourth grade and fifth grade. I could tell you so many stories. Another thing. Okay, I'll end it on this. So like again, going back to the fact that we were all Hispanic kids. Mr. Valle learned, and I'm convinced this was on purpose. She learned that she could beat our ass by proxy by inviting our parents to the class and publicly, like in front of the class, tell them what we have done wrong. And they, she knew how Hispanic parents were. So she knew when they hear that their kids is talking back and like throwing paper, like the parents would beat the kid up in front of class, in front of all of us. This happened like 5 to 7 times. It happened like semi frequently. It would happen. Like she would invite the parents to class and embarrass them basically, telling them how bad their kid was, and they'd beat their kid. And it was just like, in my opinion, like she knew what she was doing. She knew that like that was a way for her to put her hands on us, but she couldn't do it obviously herself. She had to like let her parents do it. This is a very specific kind of like Miami thing. I don't know if stuff like this could happen nowadays. I kind of feel like it can't. But then again, I don't work in the school system, so I don't know how people would react if a parent would hit their kids at school. I don't know.
Absolutely not.
Well, I do think it depends on the students and the school district. I remember reading a while ago some very disturbing things about students who have basically neurodivergency, like kids who are autistic or who have other behavioral issues, and teachers not being well equipped to handle them, and sending them out of the classroom. And there are schools where these kids are being put into basically like solitary environments and harming themselves and getting harmed. And it was like a big epidemic for a while. I don't know how prevalent that is, and again, I think it's going to really depend on the kind of student, which is to say, a marginalized student, and the school district and how much they let slide and how reporting works. I absolutely believe there are still abuses happening against students. I do think that parents are less likely to allow it to happen than maybe they were, or to perpetuate it than they used to be. But I think there are still people who get into schools who enjoy having power over kids. I really feel like this teacher just wanted to, like, she knew she could control you all, so she just kept with you as long as possible.
Yes, and I said Stockholm syndrome because, like, by the time we were in 5th grade, like, sure, she's torn into us, but she's also praised us a lot. So, like,
Right.
Like, we would feel like so good when she would like tell us shit like like you've improved so much, and like like it's the night and day the difference between how you act now and how you act before and stuff like that. Like we legit felt like good about that stuff. But yeah, like it was a really weird thing. I've never really had anybody else I never really spoken to anybody else who had the same experience where like the teacher just follows the same group of kids for 2 years.
stalker shit.
Yeah, and I remember her talking about like, oh, like maybe I'll move to the middle school that most of you are going to. She was even like
Oh my
talking about that.
God.
Yeah, she was even like talking about that.
This woman is obsessed.
Yeah, I don't know where she is now. Obviously, she kept on teaching. Like after we left, she got a whole new group of kids. I don't know if she kept on doing the same thing of following the kids all over the place. But yeah, I have no idea if she's still teaching. It's been a long time, so she'd be really really old. So probably not. But yeah, I as far as like the beating the kids up, I think that was kind of like the perfect storm where like we were all like minded, like we all had like I mean it's a stereotype that like Hispanic parents beat their kids up and stuff like that. I've my parents put hands on me a few times in my life, but not very common. So I do think it's like it's a stereotype for a reason, but I also feel like it is exaggerated. I think that at the time, if you compared a lot of them to like white homes and white families, it probably wouldn't be that different.
Yeah.
But culturally, like there was something like the idea of like, well, you shouldn't have acted out. So this is your punishment, and we all kind of had that understanding. It's like when our friend was getting like hit with the belt from like his dad in front of us, we weren't like, oh, this is horrible. We were like, oh shit, good thing it wasn't me, kind of shit. So it's like, yeah. So yes, long story short, or long story long, I do remember fourth grade, but for kind of terrorizing reasons when I was a kid.
But can you remember which of those years was fourth grade? Because you had her for so long. It's like one long fourth grade.
That's a good question. We switched classrooms, so I can remember some of it by the imagery of like which classroom was first and second. So many things, yes, I can't recall specifically with fourth grade, but overall, I think you're right that it's just like a miasma of Stockholm syndrome, of like this teacher that we hated but kind of loved in a way, but also just like it's tough love. It's that kind of thing, which is obviously could be very toxic.
Well, Dar, you mentioned the hitting, and it's funny in that episode that I talked about the mochi spreading. They Akiko Higashimura's father shows up, and they're like, "Dad, what are you doing here?" It's like, "I left work early. They're spreading mochi. I gotta get my mochi." And then like there are a bunch of kids already eating mochi. He's like, "Hold on, you gotta have something to drink while you have mochi. That's a dangerous thing. You could choke." So he starts like he just grabs the hose of like a house that's right there, and he's like, "Sorry, I'm gonna borrow the water." And the person comes up, and that person is like a middle school teacher. And like, so Akiko Higashimura is like, "Hey, middle school teacher, we got middle school kids, and they're like stealing like the stuff from us with the umbrella." And like the middle school teacher comes running out and starts smacking the middle school kids around.
Damn. They don't make them like that anymore.
They don't. But there you go, Maru-san Kakushikaku. Pretty new fun manga by Akiko Higashimura I want to talk about.
I should write a manga about Mr. Valle.
I'd read that.
2 years under Mr. Valle. The Mr. Valle 2 years Stockholm Syndrome report.
That would get like reviews like a brave recounting of of the gritty experience of public school system in Miami.
Oh yeah, no, it could be. I could rope so much things into it. It could be like like the immigrant experience. It could be much.
Let me tell you, I get a lot of publishing industry newsletters. I can write the marketing for this easy. Like
Morgana's got your copy down.
I am ready for this. We could push the diversity thing. We could push the marginalized. We can do this. I got this.
Broken homes and so much. And if only I had the talent to draw this.
abuse of the system, which is to say the system that abuses.
All right, we're gonna go workshop this after we're done recording.
If you're an artist and you're willing to accept very poor pay, get in contact.
Hilarious.
There'll be bonuses.
Here's our next coffee goal is fund Darfox's graphic novel.
Yeah. Okay, it's gonna be black and white style, like manga, so you won't have to like pay money for ink or anything.
We gotta get that risograph though.
Oh boy, that's where we spend our
Whoa.
money.
All right, let's end what you've been reading. Before we get to our main segment, let's quickly talk about next week. So, I know he's also not here this week, but starting this week, Seamus has to go back to Ireland for a bit. So, we're going to take advantage of that. We have a triple dip lineup of books Seamus would not read the second volume of. Which is, yeah, there's more than you think. But we'll be reading volume 2 of The Summer Hikaru Died, put out by Yen Press.
Woo.
We've got the Don't Call It a Mystery Volume 3 for Omnibus. That's a 7 Seas title. And we'll be reading the second Omnibus collection of Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai. Which actually, we'll just read on the Shonen Jump app, because it's on there.
Oh, nice.
It's chapters 16 through 31 if you're reading on the Shonen Jump app. So look forward to that triple dip next week. Okay, everybody, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be time to revisit Paritigaki's world of beasts with Beast Complex. We're back, everybody. It is time to talk about Paru Itagaki's Beast Complex Volume 2 and 3. We've covered Volume 1 of Beast Complex before. We have also covered all of Beastars. Beast Complex, she did after she completed the entire run of Beastars. And at least for Beastars, Beast Complex Volume 2, it covers a lot of side characters that showed up in Beastars. And we just put out the localization team information. Translation for both volumes done by Tomo Kimura. English adaptation, Annette Roman. Touch-up art and lettering, Susan Diego Leach. Cover and interior design, Yukiko Whitley, and editor, Annette Roman. Both these are put out in English by Viz. In Japan, they're put out by Akita Shoten. I'm pretty sure they ran in Weekly Shonen Champion after Beastars came out. But yeah, let me read the copy for Volume 2 and 3. For Volume 2, 6 more tales from the world of Beastars, featuring Grey Wolf Lugosi's neighbors from Beast Apartments. Yorkshire Pig Eugene meets a peacock police officer with a particular death wish. Shiba Inu calendar model Mugi grapples with the inevitability of aging out of his cuteness. Stellar's sea eagle Leisha fears losing his sugar mama and having to strike out on his own. Plus, 2 of our favorite beasts, Grey Wolf Lugosi and Dwarf Rabbit Haru, attend a restorative justice ceremony, and more. And for Volume 3, Python Kameji faces a dilemma when he finds Hyena Muro and the class bully hanging from a noose in a classroom. Snow Leopard Luke jeopardizes the career of his co-star, Japanese Deer Rose, when he makes a shocking confession. Lion Iado and Rabbit Ako, former classmates of Dwarf Rabbit Haru, meet again months after the mauling that ended their relationship. Plus a tale featuring favorite beasts Grey Wolf Lugosi and Spotted Seal Sagwan as they attempt to rescue a kidnapped octopus, and more. I mean, the copy here is basically giving a sentence description on like all the stories, because Beast Complex is a collection of different stories from the world of Beastars. It makes sense. Let's go ahead and talk about these 2 volumes together and just talk about like what we thought and what we enjoyed. I'll start with you, Morgana. What did you think of Beast Complex Volume 2 and 3? We cannot hear you, Morgana.
That better?
Yes.
Okay. I had forgotten how unhinged Paru Itagaki is.
Yeah.
And
Welcome home.
Beastars by extension. These, I mean, they're fun. They were quick. They're very short. There's some wild ones. There's some like truly bizarre ones in here. I liked the one with the snake, actually, the snake and the hyena. It felt like, I don't know, kind of sweet. Very strange. The one where the alligator drinks his classmate's bathwater was odd.
I screenshotted the page where there was like, did he see me drink his bathwater? Because it's like, this is like some primo Beastar shit.
That was the final story of these 2 volumes.
That's
what she ended on.
That's some stalker shit again. This is the stalker shit episode of Manga Machinations. Yeah, there was just or like the actors who were like, "Oh, we're gonna go win an award," and the guy's like, "Yeah, well, I actually ate one of the guys working on the set."
A rare story of that was comedy.
And I'm gonna confess to this on live in this next interview, and I just wanted you to know. It was like, what the fuck? Yeah, they were fun. fun. They were strange. I mean, that's Beastars altogether. I feel like I can't think of anything else that like really. I mean, again, totally unhinged. Legoshi and Sagwan go to find that octopus only to discover that she's been cooked. So Sagwan eats her and is like, that's what her mother would have wanted. And like, I get it, but also, what?
I mean, they touched upon that in Beastars proper
Yes.
about like the difference between the land animals and the ocean animals, their philosophy on life.
Yes. Yeah, it's there's some just truly bizarre stuff going on. I actually thought that the story about the lion and the rabbit.
Oh, the ones who are also from Beastars proper.
Yes, yeah, and I remembered them. I thought that was really interesting. It was oddly romantic. Paru Itagaki is really good at taking the predator characters who should be in the wrong and kind of manipulating it so that they're not necessarily always wrong.
Or putting them in the weak position.
Yeah. Or at a disadvantage somehow.
Alright, nice. Thanks for your initial thoughts. Darfox, stop eating Cheetos with chopsticks, and please
It's
talk
very
about
funny.
Beastars 2 and 3. He's just fucking eating Cheetos on cam.
I mean, it's just in the Beastars theme. Are these Cheetos or are these crunchy bones of small animals? You would never know. I am a meat eater. Yeah. It felt good to read Paru Itagaki again and her topsy-turvy world of animals and carnivores and herbivores living together. I think the secret sauce, because as usual, the analogies kind of work, but they're kind of paper thin, and when you start poking at them, it just tears apart, right? But the secret
We're
sauce.
talking about race allegory again.
Well, it could be race category, but it could also just be like predator and prey, and sexual assault, or any one of like very heavy subject matter that this book is kind of playing around with, kind of loosey goosey, right? But the secret sauce of these stories, when they're good, is when it follows through a character's perspective, not just because they're an herbivore or carnivore, but because they live in this world that they have this whole dichotomy. And it was really fun to me, the scene with the two actors when he's confessing to her before he's going to confess to the public, and instead of being like, that's so horrible, how could you do that, I'm glad you're gonna like come clean, she's like, you're gonna ruin my career. I've been like a B movie like starlet for so long, and now I'm too old to do that. I finally got a legitimate acting role and I'm getting accolades. I finally have a career, but you're gonna tank it all. And that's all she's concerned with. And
It's very funny.
It's funny, but also just rings really true. Because like it's like a very selfish thing that the beast the carnivore is doing then. And like from one perspective, you can also see her as selfish in the sense that she doesn't want to, like, I guess, justice be served to like this duck who got killed. But I don't know. It's stuff like that that works really well in these stories. There was a couple other examples right now that I'm struggling to remember. I got Cheeto's brain, but it's they are short. I was as usual sort of cram reading, and I was slightly worried that I would have to start skimming, but I didn't have to because it's a very visual kind of storytelling. There is text and exposition, but overall, it's really straightforward, simple stories that sometimes deal with really kind of heavy subject matter. Um, the whole albino city was really disturbing to me.
Yes.
That's the darkest story.
That's so weird. Like how like I guess legally they could just force this almost complete albino person who I guess the only way you could legally be in that city is if you're completely albino, but she has a few spots. So that makes it so that they could kick her out anytime. But they could somehow, I assume legally, make the stipulation that she's literally the whole city's sex slave. That was just like really bonkers. Like
They're living in a cult, Dar. It's a cult commune. A cult for albinos. They protect the albinos because the albinos are rare in this world. And they can be hunted by the other beasts, as you know. Literal human statues.
I mean,
or
it's
whatever.
it's a pretty big commune from what we saw. And it's also seemingly like literally right next to like either the black market or it's just some other like integrated city.
It's a rough part of town anyway. They got attacked immediately.
Yeah, that stuff was bonkers, and again, playing with really kind of heavy ideas. But I like Beastars is nothing if not just like really brazen. Like Paro Irigaki is just playing with these toys, and she'll like do anything with them basically.
But now you know why there was a buff albino crow in Beastars. Now you know. I read these as they came out, of course. Same with the volumes. I guess my takeaway from rereading this is Volume 2 of Beast Complex is way stronger overall. But Volume 3 has my favorite story, which is the actor one. Because it's hilarious. The fucking punchline of that story, where, you know, she finally agrees to let him, like, this guy confess to his murder. And they're at this interview. Then it's a 2-page spread. And she's putting on the most fake shocked face ever. It's so obvious. And it just fucking ends. That's how the story ends. Is so hilarious to me. It's a great fucking quick, fun story in the world of Beastars.
At the end of that volume, they also had like a how the story ended sort of thing, and there's like just a single panel of her like visiting him in jail and showing him like how the movie has succeeded because of the scandal.
Yep. I felt like some of the other stories in Volume 3 were a little loose. That didn't, you know, it's the same kind of looseness I felt at the end of Beastars, where sometimes the logic in the world of the Beastars was like, didn't make enough sense. Specifically, the story about the turtle and the sheep. I thought was pretty wild.
You don't like that one?
No, I like the idea of like this friendship between the turtle and the sheep. But then I'm wondering, like, this turtle is doing tattoos, and that's like allowed in this world to self-tattoo, and like they're still in school. And like her entire thing is like, these horns that I have are gonna like eventually kill me. So I need to have like a surgery to remove them. It's like, shouldn't that be standard in this world? So like all these sheep aren't like getting pierced by their own horns.
That's a real thing, you know.
I know it's a real thing, but like it's
right. But I guess, I mean, like the thing is, she wanted somebody to care enough to tell her to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I guess,
and then she finds it. Yeah.
It's like, I mean, it's like if you have a cancerous tumor, shouldn't it be standard to remove it? But some people choose not to. Right? Like it's you have a right to decide whether or not you have medical intervention to prevent death. I assume that's the same kind of logic here, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, yeah, that final story with the alligator and the cow friend and the drinking of the bath water.
I just don't even. That was like, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What?
It's a friend broth.
And like, beef broth is made by stewing meat, right?
And bones, specifically.
And bones.
Yeah.
And I don't think that taking a hot bath is gonna make the same kind of tasty broth. Like, that's not how. Like, that water got to be real hot.
Unless you really like your friend,
Yeah.
then anything, any the follicles, the sweat, that's all they want.
But they like barely knew each other. Is the other thing they mentioned. They're classmates, but they weren't like buddies. So
They were acquaintances, basically, yeah. And then it got awkward.
yeah.
I guess that's what she wanted to draw. She was like, I want this awkward situation between these two people.
But again, she did this thing where our carnivore is at a disadvantage, financially and also socially, and kind of made the cow a bit of an asshole. Like, not intentionally, like he was trying to do his best to like be cool about it, but like he also said some shitty things. It's, our family finds it's our duty to help those less privileged than us, or whatever, some bullshit rich kid nonsense coming out of his mouth.
Yep.
I was like, I don't like you at all. I hope he eats you. Frankly.
Pari Dagaki really loves that dynamic. You had that story with the tiger and the alpaca. The tiger lady getting the massage for the alpaca.
Yeah, what happened there?
What happened there is this was in a shonen magazine and she couldn't draw what she really wanted to. But she got the power dynamic down. That was the important thing.
Yeah. I was just sitting here going, did she imply what I think she implied? And I think she did.
I don't know if they actually have sex. It's more about the act of like this tiger lady who's supposed to be like all strong and powerful actually surrendering herself. Feels like a very sadomasochistic relationship.
Right.
Master and slave relationship.
Fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating was that page turn, and then like the foot is resting on like the boobs. It's just particularly horny chapter.
I thought the massaging at the back was the horny part. Or spicy part, I guess I should say.
Let me massage your pectoral muscles. Pardon me?
Yeah, Volume 3 just feels like Pari Tagaki just going ape shit with her ideas. And like Volume 2 is where like the editor was still around saying like, you should do it about, the characters that were in like the main story. Because it starts so strong with the pig taxidermist. I remember talking about this when like she started bringing Beast Complex back.
Kind of blew my mind.
And that's a good chapter too. It's very, very unique.
I love the concept. Like, can you imagine you lose a loved one and you're like, I would like
please.
I would like to have grandma stuffed.
Oh my god, that's insane.
And to be fair, I don't actually think that's like there are cultures who mummify their loved ones and then like bring them out of storage for like parties and stuff. I'm completely serious here. They like take care of their loved ones' dead bodies for generations. But it's definitely not a thing in Western society, and it's not a thing in Japanese society either. I just love the concept where like, because people do it with their pets sometimes. They get their pet stuffed, which I would also not ever do.
Yeah.
And I say this as somebody who likes taxidermy. I actively like it. I like dead animal parts. I don't know. But I also feel like when I have attachment to the dead animal, it's more complicated, and I can't really. It's hard to make peace with both of those ideas.
I guess if you ever do need the taxidermy, you gotta call that guy from the meme.
The meme?
Oh, you know that commercial about the taxidermist, Dark Fox, that like became really viral?
No, I don't think I do.
It's famous. It's like the YouTubers Rhett and Link did it for them. It's yeah, Chuck Testa. Morgana, you haven't heard this?
I don't think so.
I might have brought this exact story up when I talked about the taxidermy beast complex chapter before. But there was a commercial done for this man, Chuck Testa, who has the most driest voice. And so in this commercial he's a local taxidermy guy, and for these commercials, all these people are like, "Hey, is that a bear?" And then like it's a taxidermy bear. And from the side, a man pops out and so it's like, "Nope, it's me, Chuck Testa." And it keeps cutting to like different cases of like, "Oh my god, there's a cheetah on my porch." Nope, Chuck Testa.
I'm watching right
post-
now.
Oh, you found it? It's really good. Well,
Look
Dark
at that
Fox
antelope driving a car.
I know, right? it's like insane work.
All right, I'm gonna have to look at this later.
Yeah, I'll post it for you later. One thing I want to mention that's kind of interesting. There's a story in Beast Complex Volume 2, The Chipmunk and the Mountain Hare. It's about the chipmunk editor who needs to go visit like the mountain hare, but when she opens the door, it ends up being like the bear, who's like the novelist who's using a pseudo identity as a hare, and like the chipmunk is terrified that she's gonna get eaten by this crazed bear author. That story was completed the earliest. I forget if it was done during Beastars. I think that's the case. It wasn't like necessarily like before Beastars, but that's like the one story that wasn't done after the whole run of Beastars. I don't know if you both remember in Beast Complex 1, there was a story about a crocodile and maybe it was a goat lady. They were doing a cooking show.
Yes.
Yes, I like that one, I think.
The artwork in that one was clearly way better and more modern, like her Paru Itagaki standard Beastars, because that one was done after she started Beastars. I actually think this chipmunk story predates that one. Like, this was the first, like, she was just like, I'm gonna go back to Beast Complex and do a random chapter again. She did this chipmunk bear one, and after that she did the crocodile goat cooking show. But for some reason, they decided to put the that crocodile one in the first complex collection, and then put this chipmunk one in volume 2. So very interesting. Did either of you listen to the soundtrack recommendation at the end of these volumes?
No, I was amused by the Beatles in both of them. I think the Beatles are on both lists.
Yeah, for the Crow
The
and
only
the
ones I
Kangaroo,
recognized.
She's Leaving Home.
Yes. And
And then for
Lucy.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds for the Segwan and Lugosi.
Yes. Yeah. And I remember seeing that Lucy in the Sky one and going, yeah, that tracks.
What do you both think about having 2 chapters here that feature Lugosi? Our main boy, Good Wolf Boy from Beastars.
I think she knows where her bread is buttered.
It was nice to see him. I like Lugosi. Kind of nice to see his relationship with Haru a little bit. We didn't get like any of that in the actual series, so.
Well, in the second half, yeah.
He's too busy fighting serial killers or some shit.
Fighting like mixed race Joker. God.
Joker straight.
Remember Melon? Remember that? Remember the end of
I
Beastars?
wish I didn't remember
Holy
Melon.
shit!
Remember Melon's mom?
Oh god, and his dad.
His dad's the worst.
Yep.
Yeah, I sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna mention that they released like a key visual for the final season of the Beastars anime. That's
Well,
gonna be
it's
coming.
final season part 1.
Yep.
So they're splitting it up.
I mean, you should. There's a lot of story to tell.
As is the trend with these animes.
But it has Legosi's spoilers. Grandfather.
Yep.
I can't remember his name.
Gosha?
Gosha.
Gosha, and also the horse Batman.
Yahya.
Yeah.
What was Panda Man called? Gohan?
Gohin?
Gohan.
I'm sad we didn't get to see Panda Man in Beast Complex. But I guess they gave him enough chapters in Beastars proper.
Yeah, he had that one chapter with the expressionless woman.
Oh, that's something
Coyote
fox,
or
something coyote or fox or something. Yeah,
or hyena maybe.
and that she was a killer. I love Gohan.
Same.
I love Gosha.
Same.
So many
All the
good parts.
G
So many
names.
good parts of Beastars, and then we have to then remember Melon, and it's all fucking downhill after that.
I would read a slice of life story about Gosha raising Legoshi. Some shit like that. Just some feel good grandpa grandson stuff.
They had a little of that, but yeah.
I want more. Also, though, I'm still out here being like, how is Legoshi part lizard? Please. What?
That's right. Remember his mom was getting scales and stuff? So, like, we still haven't seen that pop up with Legoshi.
But he regrew his teeth. Remember, after he got bit by the what is the grandpa? The fucking Komodo Dragon Clan criminal crime. God damn! The other Beastars is fucking nonsense. Fucking shit. It's so bad.
It's pretty ridiculous.
I mean, at least these Beast Complex stories here, I would say they're better than the end of Beastars.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. But again, I had forgotten how unhinged this whole thing was. Like the jaw of a snake, man. It's just madness.
I mean, how quickly did you reach like peak unhinged from the taxidermy chapter?
That wasn't so weird. I mean, like the concept is a little weird, but if you think about it for a second, you're like, oh yeah, people make taxidermy animals all the time.
Okay, so the albino chapter, which is the third chapter.
That one was pretty dark. What was the second chapter?
It was Mugi, the Shiba Inu.
That was also weird, but that was funny. That one was enjoyable.
It's like the cutest Shiba Inu that's a calendar girl is actually a dude who's
Like
in his 40s.
Yeah. They're all weird. What the hell?
I really like that story because Shiba Inus are cute, but they are like volatile in terms of like at their disposition. Most of them, they are grouchy dogs.
I like that the Shiba Inu at the checkout who recognized him was like, "Hey, you're the one who like put a tiger in his place. You go, dog."
I love that one.
Yeah, you go, dog. Yeah, it was funny.
Is there any sources we haven't talked about yet? Oh, I guess the eagle and the mouse. I kind of don't like that story.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, it's all right, but I felt like they already gave everything away in Beastar's story proper. They're like, we live together. Everyone's like, are you guys a couple? No, he's just a freeloader. Yep, and we talked about all the other stories in Beastars Volume 3.
You know what I really am surprised by though? She never went back to the Legumu well. Chicken Girl. It's just that one chapter, and that's everybody's favorite chapter of Beastars.
You can't improve on perfection.
I guess not.
Fair.
But it's even her unofficial like mascot. She just has like the mask. For
She
her
still wears that
appearances.
mask in public to hide her like identity.
Yeah.
Yep. You should follow her on Instagram. She has a dog now.
Dog.
She did a rescue. It's really cute. Yeti.
She has all kinds of headcanons about that dog, man. You just know it.
Well, I really wonder what she's gonna do next because her current Santa Claus manga, Sanda, is about to end. Should end this upcoming week. What a weird fucking manga that was. Jesus.
Did Santa finally deliver all the presents?
Maybe I'll talk about it on next episode after I finish it, but yeah, it was weird is like I said it was weird to begin with, and like that's basically how it kept going. It got weirder and then it's gonna just end weird. It was a weird fucking story.
I really appreciate Paru Itagaki for being a woman in a male-centric industry, a male-dominant industry, who goes out there and does whatever the fuck she wants, and it's obviously not just making comic books for little girls. Like, she's like, I don't know, I'm gonna make some weird story about Santa Claus because that sounds fun. She's just strange, and God bless her. I think it's great.
I agree that it's great, Morgana, but I don't know if I can agree if the actual product is great.
Okay, but I just appreciate her existence.
Yep.
And
Of course.
Senda aside, I mean, we've enjoyed her other stuff, so.
Drip Drip.
Oh yeah. that
Another
was
unhinged story.
extremely unhinged. Very good though.
Is Drip Drip her most accessible story? Considering its length and everything?
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
There's no animal characters. There's the relatable aspect of like dating as an adult.
Yeah, you can relate to a woman covered in blood, chasing someone through the fucking night streets saying, "We gotta have sex!" Paru Itagaki has said before in interviews that she learned from her father, Keisuke Itagaki, creator of Baki, that every chapter you should have 2 or 3 moments where you really like wow the reader. And I think it's like very evident that's how she creates her stories and her chapters. Because every chapter in Beast Complex, you can find a moment that like is intended to be shocking or interesting or like to catch your eye visually. Like with the Segwan and Lugosi are looking for the octopus. It's a 2-page spread of the grilled octopus skewers. And Lugosi looking shocked.
His shocked face is my favorite.
It's the best.
It's like I want to replace all the shocked Pikachu like memes with just Legoshi. It's like doink, those big eyes.
Mm-hmm. Anything else to say about Beast Complex Volume 2 and 3, Darfox?
I think we picked the bone.
We picked it apart. Nibbled on all the bits.
Bits.
We swallow the whole, and we are dissolving it in our snake tummies.
Very nice. Okay, I guess that is the end of this episode then. I want to thank Darfox and Morgana for joining me this week. Shoutouts to Cliff in our chat. I keep forgetting to mention that we're recording these podcasts live on youtube.com/MangaMacTV. Go subscribe to that channel. While you're at it, subscribe to our Manga Mac Watches channel, where we're doing commentary tracks for anime. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to subscribe to us, review us, rate us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever else you can find us. If you want to financially support us, buy us a coffee. Head over to ko-fi.com/mangamac. Check out our website, mangamachinations.com. Our Tumblr is mangamachinations.tumblr.com. Come join our Discord server. Head over to discord.me/mangamac. And come join us. We need more people to play Mahjong with us every Monday. If you want to send us an email, send it over to mangamachinations@gmail.com. You can follow us on social media at Manga Mac Podcast. That's Manga MAC Podcast. That's for Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, everything else. You can follow my personal social media at Dakazu. You can follow Darfox at Darfox8. And you can follow Morgana at Morgana Relina. Alright, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to us this week. Bye-bye.